Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a week of the Melt Cosmetics Muerte palette, which just looks like this. This is one of the two palettes in their new Amor Eterno collection, which looks like this. It has a mixture of really deep reds, blues, and some bright greens. So I was super inspired by this color story and I wanted to go ahead and film 5 looks with it. I also thought I would just quickly give my thoughts on the palette so far before we jump into the looks, because I want to do like a full roundup whenever I'm done testing everything from the Amor Eterno collection. I already did a first impression that included swatches of every single thing in the collection. I'll link down below in case you didn't see that and you want to check it out and see my thoughts on everything. Throughout this video I was using the Illuminación highlighter, the different gel liners, some of the brushes, so you'll get to see those in action. But I wanted to just quickly give my thoughts until then, in case you are trying to decide whether to purchase this palette or not, since it does launch officially on Black Friday. So you probably already know I love the packaging, I love the sentiment behind the collection, but as far as performance goes, I do really like the palette. I find that the mattes are a little bit on the drier side, and I find that using a more hydrating eye primer does help. The more dry my eye primer is, the more dry that the mattes look. For example, like the Urban Decay primer is a little bit dry on my eyes. I personally have dry eyes, so this is not my favorite primer to use with the palette. I've been liking the P. Louise base and the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. I personally use the shade Illustrate, but throughout the video you'll see me using different primers until I decide what I like. But if you do have dry eyes, I would recommend using something with a little bit more moisture. If you have oily eyes, then these mattes might be perfect for you. I feel like all of the mattes except for Lagrimas are pretty deep, so if you are wanting to use this as a standalone palette, be prepared to take your time to blend. It takes a moment to blend out these really deep shades and to get that nice transition. Like the blue that I have in my crease today was all Noche Eterna, but it took a little bit to get that depth going and that transition because it is such a deep shade, especially for me having a fair skin tone. But also on the plus side, if you do have a deeper skin tone, I feel like this will be a really great palette because all of the shades are probably going to work for you, except for maybe Kalaka, but that does have a nice golden undertone, so I think that it will be able to be manipulated to work. The shade that I like the least is Kalaka, just because it is very, very powdery. The best way to use this, I find in my opinion, is with a glitter glue. That makes it worlds better. It's just a little bit disappointing because it's not that great of a formula. And then between Sangre and Velorio, I feel like those two are pretty similar. They look pretty similar. Velorio is just the tiniest bit darker, but honestly I wish one of them had been taken out and there had been a metallic deep red. I think that would have been amazing and would have added a lot more variety to the palette, especially having a metallic red or metallic blue, mixing them together. Like, I just see it. So I think that when I use this palette and I use it with other palettes, especially like the Vita palette, I'm going to be pulling in for that red and adding it in here. And then I think those are all of the cons that I have so far. The only other thing I've noticed is Katrina. Again, wet that shade. I promise you, if you use this and you're disappointed and you're like, what the heck, like that's so lackluster, wet it and your life will be changed. Not being dramatic, but everything else I absolutely love. These 3 shades here, the greens, living. They are so stunning. So I'm really happy with the palette so far. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below and I will try and get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And I will be doing the Vita next. I'm working on that next, so I'm not sure when I'll be able to get that up. So that's pretty much everything for today's video. Oh, wait, this is the intro. What am I doing? Please don't leave. If you want to see all 5 looks, just go ahead and keep watching. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 1 with the Muerte palette. I am so excited. I'm like, there's just so many options, but I think today I want to do a really bright, intense red look. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with Corazon. And yeah, I'm just taking a little touch to start off with. I'm going to try and build it up some and get a good transition out of it. But I did go ahead and use the Anastasia eye primer today, so I'm just going to go ahead and start that red off. Actually, I think I'm going to start off on my outer V and then just kind of bring it inwards. Again, like I said, I went in with the tiniest amount because I want to be able to get a good gradient out of this. And a lot of these shades in the palette are pretty dark. Right now I'm going to go into the next deeper red. Again, I'm just going to take a little bit of that, start off in my outer V. and just blend it inwards. Okay, so I'm kind of loving how this look is going because I think it's so fun to take such an extreme, bright, crazy palette and do more of like a wearable look like to most people. So I kind of like where that's going, and maybe I'll just kind of follow that trend. I am still going to go into Velorio next, taking a tiny little touch because it looks super pigmented, and I'm going to pop that onto my outer V. Yeah, that's really rich. Can't relate. I'm also going to go ahead and take that same shade Velorio and just popping that along the lower lash line. This brush is a little bit stained green, but it's relatively clean, so I'm going to go ahead and just buff out that lower lash line. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and pick up Kalaka, and because it is so powdery, I'm just going to pick it up with my brush first, just a little bit, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to spray it just with a random setting spray that I always use for shimmers, just to help it be a little less powdery. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop that onto the lid. And then just blending it over. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really love the formula of Kalaka. I just feel like it could definitely be better, but I do like the way that it looks with this eye look, and I like the overall tone of it. Okay, last but not least for this look, you could go in with whatever highlighter that you have if you were following along to this, but because I have Illuminacion from Melt's Amor Eterno collection here, I really want to incorporate it into some looks, so I'm gonna pop that onto my inner corner. Okay, so that's what it looks like kind of built up in the inner corner. It is just a really soft, light, iridescent pink. It's not that intense because it's not even meant for the eyes, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up a good amount on my pencil brush. And again, I'm just going to spray it to see if I can get it a little bit more intense. Oh yeah. Really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and take Immortelle, and I'm going to pop it on my waterline and my lid and do a little line. Pray for me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Illuminacion highlighter just because I think, like, you know, it's on the inner corner. It'll just really go with the vibes of this look. And I'm going to use the Cara brush again, just getting to know it a little bit better. I don't know, after I applied this highlighter yesterday, I could not stop looking at it. Last but not least for lips, Moira Cosmetics sent me a little PR package with all of their new Glossifair Luminous lip glosses, which I love lip gloss, so I was really excited about it. I pulled out this shade Kitten, number 15, to try today. I want to do a lip swatch video if I like the formula. I don't want to try them all and pull them all out and use them once if I don't like the formula. So that's more pinky than I thought it was going to be. Let's see. Also, my lips are still stained from Monarca, the purple liquid lipstick, so it feels really comfortable, and the shade actually reminds me so much of, well, they're not exactly the same, but kind of the same vibes. I have this shade, which is Divine Rose from Pat McGrath Labs. I mean, they're not the exact same. I think that the Moira Kitten has a little bit more of a pinkiness in it, but they're both pretty mauve-y glosses. Alright, so this is the finished first look for day one, and I actually really like how it turned out. I feel like this is such a beautiful, simple, easy look, and it's definitely not at all what you expect when you look at this palette, so I love doing the unexpected, and I think that it does show that you can make this palette a lot more toned down, and the shades blended out really well. Like, it looks like it's just like a soft pink in my crease, even though that was the red, but I've also used the red and had it build up and be super intense. So I appreciate the flexibility of the shade Corazon, and I'm just super excited for the rest of this week using the Muerte palette. So let's go ahead and jump on into day two. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right on into day number two. I'm going to start off with this shade right here called Pantheon, which is a deep gray. Today I'm using the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. I'm going to start the gray off in my crease. I tried to pick up just a tiny little amount because I want to really lighten this up and use it as my transition. I have an all matte look in mind today, so we'll see how it goes. pretty pigmented. I'm just trying to disperse that as best as I can without going in too ham. I'm also going to go ahead and just smoke that shade out along the lower lash line, and I'm going to kind of connect it up. Alright, so now that I feel like I have that pretty diffused with the bigger brush, I'm going to take some more of that shade, and I'm going to take it on a little tiny brush. This is the Morphe M506, and I'm going to just deepen that shade up through my crease. If you ever want to take just one shade and add a lot of dimension, using a really fluffy brush and then a really small brush will definitely give you that effect. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the deep matte blue called Noche Eterna, and I'm going to start that off in the outer V and just blend it out. That's really rich. I'm also going to take a little bit of that deep blue along the lower lash line. I'm just going back in with my previous brush, just slightly blending over the edges. I really want to do the inner corner before I do the lid, so I think I'm going to take Kalaka, but today I'm going to try using a glitter glue first and see how that helps the shadow. So I'm just going to take the Give Me Glow Cosmetics glitter glue. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on my inner corner and let it get tacky. And I'm grabbing Kalaka and just going to tap that over top. So it still looks a little powdery. There's still a little bit of fallout from it, but definitely makes it look a lot more metallic. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this shade right here called Lagrimas. I'm so excited to use this color. I'm a little bit nervous because I really, really want it to be everything that I want it to be. So I'm just going to grab it on a kind of a little bit of a fluffy flat brush, and I'm going to put that onto my lid. I'll build it up if need be, which it looks like it is going to need to be built up. Just oh okay, there we go. Wow, I love that color so much, I can't even explain it. I'm kind of shook. That looks so smooth and beautiful. I think I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of the deep blue Noche Eterna and just kind of add a little bit of that into it. Alright, so I'm a little bit obsessed with how that looks, and I'm nervous because I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Santos, which is the really bright blue, and I thought I would try and do my liner with this today. We'll see. So I think I'm going to pop that in the waterline and then do it on my lid as well. Actually, I'm kind of looking at my waterline and I feel like my eyeshadow didn't get close enough, so I think I'm going to take some more of that matte blue Noche Eterna and I'm going to just put it as close as I possibly can. Alright, really quickly off camera, I'm going to go ahead and use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara on my upper lashes, and then on my lower lashes I'm going to use the Katy Perry CoverGirl Perry Blue mascara, just because I thought it would go along well with everything else. Okay, so for highlighter today I'm going to use the Skywalker highlighter from Kaleidos, which just looks like this. It has kind of like a blue shift to it. And then for lips I'm going to go into the e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Pink Kiss. Alright, so this is the finished look for day 2, and I really like how it turned out. I was so nervous about doing Lagrimas on the lid just because it is such a beautiful color. I wanted it to be good, and I really love the way that it looks. I feel like I probably could have blended it up into like what was happening a little bit more, but I kind of just threw it on the lid and kept going. But the color is really beautiful. It's very smooth. It does not look textured or chalky or anything, and it's just such a pretty shade. So I hope you like this look. Now let's go ahead and jump on into day number 3. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump on into day number 3. I'm so excited because I've got my fuzzy robe on. I just bought this at Walmart, no shame. But anyways, today I went ahead and I primed my eyes with, I already lost it, the P. Louise primer. Just, again, testing out different primers with the palette to see what I like best. And I was talking to Karen Harris. She said she used the P. Louise base and that it worked out pretty well. So I'm extra excited for this one because today we're going to be playing with the greens. I have been dying to play with these shades right here, Angelito, Lagrimas, and Duelo. I'm so excited. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with Lágrimas. And then also, just since I'm being super chatty, I did get, other than this one, this is from Shop Miss A, which is new, but I got sent some PR from Coastal Scents and some brushes, so I figured I would be testing these out. I'm going to start trying them today, which was really exciting and cool because Coastal Scents was the first place I ever bought a brush set from, so for them to reach out to me felt like so full circle. All right, I think I already said it, but I'm starting off with Lágrimas, which is so pretty. I'm so excited. I can't even handle. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into my crease to start off with and just blend upwards. I just love the tone of this shade. It's just everything. I'm also going to go ahead and take that shade along my lower lash line. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take the deep green Duello, and I'm going to start that off in my outer V and just blend it in. I'm going to go back in with my previous brush and just blend over top. And I'm also taking Duello on the outer part of the lower lash line. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take Angelito, and I'm going to try it on a brush just for the heck of it to see how it performs, although I really just want to go in with my finger. Tell me why I literally just bought a new little brush cleaner and I'm still wiping my brush on my robe. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start that off on the inner part of my lid and then just pull it across. Ooh, that's pretty. It'd be really pretty with the finger. I got just a little bit of fallout from that shade. I'm going to take the brush I used for the deeper shade and just slightly blend between the shimmer and the matte. And then I'm going to go with my finger. Alright, so for the inner corner, I really kind of want to go in with Calaca and Angelito at the same time and just kind of mix them and do like a lighter greeny inner corner. I think I'm going to use Calaca first, and I'm going to use a glitter glue and then just take a little bit of Angelito and just blend it in. Just using a touch of the Give Me Glow glitter glue. Alright, so just starting off with Calaca, popping that, and then a little tiny touch of Angelito. I'm taking a touch more of Calaca on top, just trying to get those two shades to blend. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the shade Jade from Ardency Inn in my waterline, and then I'm gonna use the Fortuna liner to do my eyeliner today because it's that deep green. I think it'll go really well with this look, and I'm just gonna kind of speed through it. All right, for highlighter, I'm gonna go ahead and take Kaleidos Ray Rider, which here's what that one looks like. It's a little bit more of a neutral. And then for lips, I'm going to go ahead and go into the Moira Glossifair in the shade Cheeky. Alright, you guys, so this is the final look for day 3, and I absolutely love how it turned out. This monochromatic green look is everything to me. It's everything I hoped it would be. All the shades worked really, really well, so I'm so happy with it. I hope you guys love this look too, like living. So let's go ahead and jump on into day 4. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 4. I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with this blue right here called Noche Eterna. And I'm going to try and blend that out and make it super soft and then build it up. And I have a look going in my mind, so let's see. I decided to use the P. Louise base again today just because I really liked the way that blended everything out and how the shadows applied with that primer. So I'm just going to go ahead, start off with the blue. Took just a tiny little bit. I noticed because I was editing the beginning of this video yesterday that it does kind of look funny when I first apply the shadows, and that they don't look very good. They look a little bit patchy, they look a little streaky, and I think to someone who maybe doesn't know as much about makeup or who doesn't understand what I'm doing, they could think that the shadows look bad. The reason why it looks a little streaky, a little patchy, is because I'm using such tiny amounts of an extremely dark shade in order to sheer it out. And when you do that, it's going to take a little bit longer to blend. For example, now, like if I went in with a light blue, then I wouldn't be 100% happy with how this looks. But because it is such a dark, 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 deep blue, and I'm going to keep building on top of it, it makes sense that it doesn't look exactly perfect right off the start, or right off the bat. So I just wanted to take a moment to explain that. But as you can see, as I'm blending it out, you know, it looks decent. It's just part of the process of using one shade in your crease. It's a process, but I don't mind. So now I'm taking a more pointed, little precise brush. This is Coastal Scents BRC S08, and I picked up some more of Noche Eterna, and just gonna go ahead and start that off in my outer V. But I am gonna pretty heavily bring that shade through my entire crease and just build up the depth. All right, so that's built up pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab my previous brush and just blend over the edge. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take Duello, that really deep green, and I'm gonna take it on a very, very tiny little brush. And as best as I can, I'm going to get that super close to the lower lash line. I'm gonna go ahead and take Lagrimas, taking out that on like the tippity top of my pencil brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend out the lower lash line. I just love Lagrimas so much that I want to like kind of make that a little bit more intense. And then I'm gonna take just a touch more of Duello. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take Angelito, and I'm gonna take it on that same really, really tiny brush that I've been using. And I'm gonna start that off on my inner corner, and I'm gonna keep it kind of tight and not as blown out as sometimes I like to do. Also just gonna bring that onto the inner part of the lid just a tiny, tiny little bit. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and pop into this really beautiful sparkly metallic blue called Katrina. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that onto my lid, just using a dry brush. Not really sure what to expect from this shade yet. Just kind of blending it over the inner part. Definitely does have some fallout, and I can see the little flecks of sparkle on the eye, but they're not super intense. For the other eye, I'm gonna spray the brush just to see what that does. Oh yeah. Ooh, okay. I mean, I don't even have to say, do you see that difference? Definitely go in with this shade Wet. Wow. Wow, that is a world of difference. I really am not the type of person who goes in with shadows wet a lot. I normally prefer to use my finger or a glitter glue, but with this shade, it definitely seems worth it. Still got a little bit of fallout though. I think that is the most difference I've ever seen in a shadow, like going from dry to wet. All right, so for this look, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Santos, the blue, in my waterline, and then I'm gonna use Immortal on my upper lid, basically. And I'm just gonna speed through it again because I'm horrible at liner and it takes me a really long time. All right, really quickly, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw on some mascara and then I'll be right back. All right, so for highlighter, I'm gonna go ahead and use Ofra Space Baby just because it's a really beautiful blue shifting highlight and I thought that would look pretty with today's look. And then for lips, I'm going to go into the Ulta Tinted Juice Infused Lip Oil in the shade Passionate Peach. Normally, especially with pretty colorful looks, I'll take whatever lipstick container I have and hold it up to my lips. And for some reason, I just thought there was something about the peach with this look. Alright y'all, so this is the finished look for day 4 and I absolutely love how this look turned out. I feel like it is such a beautiful smoky eye, and from a distance it might not look as special, but just the tones of the lower lash line, that metallic shade Angelito is so beautiful. The shade on the lid, Katrina, is literally so pretty, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you can see that. The sparkles. perfection. I just love a nice, deep, rich, but still colorful smoky eye, so I'm living for it. I wish I had plans or somewhere or something to do tonight, but I'm probably just gonna be watching Hallmark, so I hope you guys enjoyed the look since you'll be the only one seeing it. And let's go ahead and jump on into day 5. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 5. If you can't tell already, I'm having really bad allergies today. My eyes are super sensitive and the lights are super bright. But I have almost this entire video done, so I think I'm just going to try and push through it and film this really quickly. Not that quickly, I still want to do a nice look, but it's just kind of hard to look up directly in the camera. It hurts my eyes a little bit if I'm being honest, but let's just go ahead and jump on in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with the shade Velorio, and I'm going to pop that right into my crease to start off with. I thought today I would go ahead and start with a darker shade first. I'm also going to go ahead and pop that onto the inner part of my eye a little bit. I kind of want to do a halo eye today. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take Sangre, and I'm going to just kind of pop that right over top and just use the red to blend it out a little bit. Might have started that dark purpley red a little bit too high. Okay, I look crazy right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Corazon, and I'm gonna use that on more of a fluffy brush, and then just slightly put that over top. Alright, I'm gonna go in with a completely clean, fluffy little blending brush and just work on the edges a little bit more. Alright, I really want to do a pretty bold red lower lash line, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take some more of Corazon on just like a little smudger brush. Just popping that along the lower lash line. It's kind of crazy to me how purple those 3 shades together ended up looking. I'm also going to take a touch more of Sangre. Pop that on the outer part. Alright, now I really want to go ahead and grab Noche Eterna, the deep blue, and I'm gonna just add that onto the outer part of the lid here first. Then I'm also gonna pop it onto the inner. I'm just grabbing a little bit extra of Corazon through the crease, just making sure everything is blended. I want to start off with Santos, the gel liner, and I thought that maybe that would be a pretty like base on the middle of the lid, and I'm going to kind of blend it in to the matte shade. I feel like that's actually really pretty, and you could kind of stop it there if you wanted to, but I'm obviously not going to stop it there. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab Katrina. And I'm going to pop that on the outer part of the lid first. And then I'm going to pop it on the inner part. Kind of letting that blue be the pop in the center. I feel like you could leave the lid like that, or you could probably go in with a little tiny bit of Calaca to add a little bit more definition, but I think a sparkly light blue would be really pretty. I'm just going to use this really just random one that I just happen to have on hand here. It's just like a really just soft, pretty, sparkly light blue. No big deal, just a random shadow. Am I being subtle enough? And I'm going to pop that just the tiniest little bit on the center of the lid. Just gonna use my finger to kind of blend that in at first. And then I'm taking just a touch more of Katrina. Alright, for my inner corner, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Illuminacion, and I'm going to spray it. I'm also gonna pop whatever is left over on my brush underneath my brow bone. So I went ahead and quickly threw on the Anger Mood pencil from Linda Halberry, some Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced, and just quickly did that off camera since my oil heater turned on. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use Illuminacion again, and it'll kind of match, it'll match the inner corner. I was talking to Karen Harris about this, and she said that she saw the glitters in it, and I'm like, I guess if I look at it really close, I see glitters, but it doesn't really strike me as like a super glittery highlight, but maybe that's because I don't care about glitter that much. I don't know, I didn't even notice till she said something. I've also up to this point only used this highlighter with the Cara face brush, so I thought I'd go ahead and use it with my Morphe one. Ooh. See, it is so pretty. I just love that iridescent light pink tone. It's not the most creamy highlighter, but it doesn't really emphasize my texture or look dry on my skin, so I like it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do something I rarely do ever, but I'm going to use a dark lip with a dark eye. I'm gonna use JJ Cosmetics Brick House, which just looks like this. I was really curious to try their liquid lipstick formula, and I just feel like that kind of like rich red tone with the lower lash line will kind of pair together, so I'm gonna do it. Alright guys, so this is the finished look for day 5. This lip color is actually so beautiful. It's kind of like a muted red, and it just has a little bit of a vibrancy to it. Feels really comfortable, but it does have a little bit of transfer. Hope you enjoyed the week of the Muerte palette, even though this last day was a little bit of a struggle to film, not gonna lie, but it was worth it. I did want to mention really quickly before I let you go that if you do like these kind of videos, that your engagement really helps if you comment, just because tutorials in general seem to do the worst on YouTube, probably because people want drama, and there's not that much dramatic about a tutorial, but I love it. I'm gonna keep doing them, so if you have a moment, please feel free to do those things if you want to, no pressure. So that's everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.